Hey, good morning, y'all. I'm in Starbucks, and I guess this is kind of part of Panama City, but I'm still kind of in the beginning of it. And anyway, just woke up. I camped behind here last night. It was pretty windy, so I found a spot that was like behind kind of cinder block walls that kind of surround the dumpsters, and it made a little corner. And so I got out of the wind and slept really good. I had crazy vivid dreams. Like, really got some sleep last night. It was nice. I guess having like two walls around me, because sometimes if I'm sleeping in the woods, like I feel like critters are gonna creep up behind me or something, But felt safe there. Um, so yeah, yesterday was like super intense. As you saw the footage, it's fucked up here. And I'm not even all the way through it all. So I still need to find a way to update, post pictures. So it means like creating some new profile on something, but and I get super frustrated whenever I do that. I definitely have computer rage, so like if technology screws with me or gives me a hard time, I just straight up break it. I've broken like many laptops, punched laptops right in their screen, like phones, just smashed them, whatever. So far, this phone has been really good. I guess I don't know, God bless this one or something. It works fine. It hasn't pissed me off at all. Um, and actually, since I've been traveling and I got away from my ex, my rage has gone down like 98%. I used to just get so fucking pissed and punching holes in the walls and whatever, like really bad. I feel blessed that I'm like back to my own self. Things are a lot better. I do more meditation now, and I'm not with like a negative person anymore. So you know, and I have a definite sense of freedom. So see, I wanted to, and this is funny, my videos ramble just as much as I do around the country. My stories are like start one place, get somewhere else, whatever. So I've been like thinking about, sometimes I should maybe write down like bullet points on a piece of paper in front of me so I can be like, oh, this is what I was supposed to be talking about. Doesn't matter. So I wanted to talk about the war on drugs, which started in, I believe it was 1970. Nixon did the like Controlled Substance Act or something like that. Whatever. I'm not trying to put the actual specifics. I believe that's what it was. Anyway, it's really a war on people. War on freedom of choice. Because like doing drugs is a victimless crime, or like you're the person doing them is potentially the only victim. Like if you're shooting heroin, you're only hurting yourself, and maybe you're supporting the cartels or whatever, but it's a personal choice. And here I am sitting in Starbucks, which are fucking drug dealers, straight up. They're slanging caffeine and sugar. I'm former partner. I worked for Starbucks like three different times. I, was a barista at many independent coffee shops as well. But yeah, I worked for Starbucks in Philly in like '98, and Chicago, Boston. I worked at like the busiest stores in the country, and it occurred to me like when I first started doing the coffee biz, like just how we're selling a legal drug. It's totally acceptable. In fact, corporate America, gives free coffee away, right? It's like the drug of choice for corporate America. So like, anyway, and then like the difference of like, oh well, what about Pfizer and all these, big chem companies, drugging people? Like, day before yesterday when I stayed at, my friend's place, I watched television like all night, right? And just like drug commercial after drug commercial for, fake ailments, like, and the what they call side effects, which are actually effects, or like worse than whatever they're supposedly treating. Like there's like one for bipolar or something, which like I've been diagnosed and whatever. Like Kanye said, it's not a mental disorder, it's a superpower. So they, they're like, I don't even remember, like uncontrollable muscle permanent uncontrolled muscle spasm, like crazy shit. Like, are you kidding me? Like, oh yeah, rectal bleeding. That's better than whatever my other symptoms are. Like, shit's garbage. So, like, when I was 18, my folks found a bong in my car, and so they started making me go to like this weekly outpatient program, right? Because my grandparents were hardcore drunks, like when they would come visit us from Wisconsin, they straight up brought beer with them. Like, you can buy beer in Jersey, but they'd have a trunk full of beer, and so yeah, they were hardcore. And I think my mom growing up with that, and my Mimi was like fucking nuts, and she's the one that's Chippewa. But anyway, Italian, bred from Chippewa. She would end up in the mental hospital, and then my mom, being the oldest of 4 kids, would like take care of her younger brothers and whatever. So like she saw all things like that as like bad, like drinking, alcohol, cannabis, whatever. She lumped it all together, and so I had the misfortune of going to this weekly outpatient thing, right? So it's like a bunch of kids, high school kids whose parents don't understand them, basically. Now, sure, there were some kids in there that had some problems, like a lot of girls that were like cutters and stuff like that. I mean, I saw it as a good opportunity to meet, crazy girls, right? And so here I am, like, doing this bullshit, and I was, at the time, I was skating constantly. Like I said, skateboarding is my religion. I would like to get back to it, even though I'm freaking old now. So I was skating this 8-foot half pipe. I went for a frontside air, and my left foot was on the board, and my right foot hung up on the coping, and tore my ACL. I mean, I heard the pop. It was fucking bad. Slid down to the bottom of the ramp, went directly into shock. My buddies were like, holy fuck, like, they helped me kind of limp to the car. Now, they didn't really know how bad I was injured, but they were like, oh, just sit in the car for a while, you know what I mean? And they kept skating for a while, which, I don't blame them, whatever. I was just like, because they were like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I think I hurt my leg, but I don't know, I couldn't feel it, really, And they were like, all right, well, we're going to keep skating for a while, and, they brought me home, and it started hurting, really bad. And I definitely have like a really high pain tolerance. I always have. And I was like, shit, I think I really hurt myself. Obviously, it was fucking bad. So I told my mom, hey, I think I'm, fucked something up. So, go to the doctor, whatever. They do, I don't know, x-rays, MRI, whatever they did. And the guy's like, yeah, you tore your ACL. That's why it hurts so fucking bad. And in 1991, this is like a experimental surgery. So they were like, well, we're gonna go in and we can take your tendon and turn it into a ligament, and we got to open up your leg, pull your kneecap aside, the whole thing. Now they do it all orthoscopically, and football players do it all the time, and get back on the field within whatever, not that long. They literally immobilized my knee for a month, right? I was in the hospital for a while. And in the hospital, they gave me the morphine drip, which was a little button I could push and get a dose of morphine, all right? Which was, maybe helpful. I don't know. Shit fucking hurt regardless. And then they gave me, Percocet or Darvocet when I got out of the hospital. So I get out of the hospital and I'm going to these weekly, drug thing, right? Outpatient drug treatment, right? All because I had been smoking cannabis, all right? And so here I am, we're sitting in there talking about don't do drugs, blah, 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 and I'm popping Darvocets, I'm on crutches, right? So I was kind of trapped, even though I was already 18 and I was kind of ready to move out, get on my own, I'm on crutches, I'm dependent on my family. And so crazy. So I'm high on pills that they, that were prescribed to me, sitting there talking about not doing drugs. It was stupid as fuck. And because they were weekly piss testing me, I had to stop using cannabis, which was the only thing that ever helped me with my issues and stuff. And also would have helped with pain, right? But that's the one thing that stays in your system so long. So I just started, or I continued to take LSD like often, usually like every weekend. And I guess I wrote a letter to one of the girls in my, class or whatever you call it, program, when I was tripping one night, and she was just like a friend, whatever. I guess I mentioned that I was tripping or something, and her mom was always going through her shit, so her mom like found the letter, you know, read it, and then like contacted my mom and whatever. So they like ambushed me. We had like a family meeting every other week or whatever. We're in the family session, and I'm on fucking crutches, right? So like that, I couldn't do anything. And they're like, well, we found out you're taking LSD, so we're gonna put you in a mental hospital. There's a mental hospital. It's called Hampton. It's in like Southampton, Jersey. But, and they have like a drug treatment program within it, right? So I'm like, no, fucking, I'm not letting you lock me up, right? I'm like 18, I'm a kid, and but I'm like on crutches. I couldn't like hobble away. Like, what was I gonna do? So put me in there, and like I said, this is 1991. So this is when like all those like SSRIs and all that shit was like kind of new, and they were experimenting on us straight up. Like I had friends in there that they were like giving massive doses of benzos, like clonazepam. My buddy was like really cool, like animated, like creative dude, and he like they turned him into a zombie for like a week, like I resisted for a long time. Like I was like, I'm not taking your fucking pills, and I'm not talking to you about anything. Like the psychiatrist was Dr. Andrews. It's funny, I remember because my buddy Justin had like written a song about it. It's I don't know, I'll get to the lyrics. Well, Caffeine and THC was the name of the song, and he says something like, Dr. Andrews, why did you drug me? I would have been good with just a cup of Joe and some Stimpy or whatever, right? So they were like, and I wonder now if there was some little bit of MK Ultra going on over there or not, I mean, they certainly were programming us, but I don't know if they're, anyway. So they were like trying to convince me to take dizipramine, which is like, I believe, a dopamine reuptake inhibitor, because I took a mipramine later in life, and that's what that was, so perhaps it was a different version of it. And I realized I wasn't going to get out of there unless I finally went with the program, like that was that. Like I knew, because I saw other kids that were like resisting them, and they ended up staying in there for like 2 months, whatever, even longer. I was supposed to be there 30 days. It was a program, and so eventually I just like pretended like, oh yeah, when I get out of here, I'm not gonna smoke cannabis again. Oh no, psychedelics are bad. Oh yeah, but your drugs are good. Okay, yeah, program, squirts if you jerk it. Oh yeah, work the program, 12 steps, blah blah blah. It was bullshit, I'm going to like AA meetings, and I hadn't even drank at that point. I probably drank a couple times, but I did not like alcohol at all then. And so it was a bunch of garbage. So this is like my own, personal stuff with the drug war. This is going to be a 2-part video because I'm already at like 14 minutes, and I can only upload like 15-minute videos at a time. Because first of all, I don't have a phone number, and I refuse to give Google and YouTube my phone number. It's bad enough that like they have my face on here, and I've mentioned like where I'm from. I think I slipped out my first name at one point, but whatever, what I mean? Like apparently I'm already on the Fed's radar anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, all right, so I'm gonna stop here and start it right up again. All right.